Because you know more than one angle and see more than one opportunity. We bring you Build a Bet. Multiple legs as a single bet on one game. Raising the odds and elevating your experience. You've done the hard work, the analysis, the selection. It's all going according to plan. Until City miss a sitter and you miss your multi-bet by one. Miss your multi-bet by one and we will return up to 20 times your stake. We've got your back, even when City don't.
Great football action plus amazing discounts on Topstar. Quench the November heat with 20% discount and grab yourself a DTT 4 kit at only 149 kwacha. Spare a moment, relax and refresh yourself with thrilling football action for only 135 kwacha DTT or 140 kwacha DTH monthly subscription. Watch the North London Giants, the Gunners, Arsenal as they host Maud on Thursday 5th November at 22 hours exclusive to World Football. Then conclude your football weekend and catch the Catalan Giants Barcelona as they host Real Betis live on Saturday 7th November at 17:15 hours on Sports Premium. Subscribe now and witness your best football teams and stars in action. Topstar. Enjoy digital life.
Most accurate and balanced news. We are a credible and trusted news source. We are KBN Television. Catch us live on Topstar Channel 102. And remember to like our page KBN TV on Facebook for all breaking news. KBN, the finest television.
Good evening and welcome to Kbn Main News, broadcasting live in Lusaka and in more towns across the country. The headlines. Government has procured equipment worth $10 million for skills training. FODEP has urged the Electoral Commission of Zambia to work on releasing results on time. Zambia to host the World Communication Africa Forum this month. Senior Chief Shakumbila has been dethroned over land wrangles. Trump campaign demands to observe Philadelphia counting. Phil Foden recalled by England. With the main news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Government has procured the state-of-art $10 million equipment to replace the obsolete chronic training equipment to create a robust training platform. Higher Education Minister Dr. Brian Mushimba says the equipment will support training in various skills programs. He says government has continued to support TVET colleges through skills training and self-job creation, despite difficult conditions experienced by colleges. Dr. Mushimba also stated that the sector has, over a period of time, lacked vibrant equipment as technology keeps escalating. He has since encouraged college principals and institutions management to take advantage of Skills Development Fund, SDF, created under the Act of Parliament as a supporting mechanism for enhancing skills training. Dr. Mshimba was speaking when he flagged off the TVET training equipment in Lusaka today.
I'm told $10 million invested in this equipment, which will be distributed across the country. This is a huge milestone. I want to thank the ministry for this dedication. And the managers of this fund that has proved to be very beneficial, what we're seeing today, the CDF fund. Principals, you know about this fund, it's your fund. And I expect you to demand of this fund, to ask of this fund, to draw from this fund, because it's meant for you. We appreciate the work that you have to do. You do it under difficult circumstances. Sometimes the funding may be regular or late, but you are there doing your part every day. And we thank you as government.
And Higher Education Permanent Secretary Kayula Siame says the TVET sector in the recent past had not been equipped with training equipment required to channel suitable skills training. She has since encouraged trainers to effectively use the newly acquired training equipment to also promote agriculture and equally inculcate entrepreneurial skills in students in various skills.
Honorable Minister, I think as you know, the TVET sector for a long time has not been equipped with the requisite facilities in terms of equipment that is required to ensure that the skills that we are churning out are suitable not only for today but also for tomorrow.
Zambia is set to host the World Communications Forum Africa Conference on November 24 and 25 this year at Bonanza Golf Resort in Lusaka. Information and Broadcasting Services Minister Dora Silia says the forum will bring together professional communicators from around the world in different fields such as journalism, advertising, and public relations, among others. Ms. Silia says some of the current themes expected to be discussed at the conference are digitalization and crisis communication. She says government is looking forward to host the conference as it will bring pride to the country. And Ms. Silia says Zambia will host Women in Influence Community Conference on November 26. She says the conference will be opened by the Vice President Inongewina, adding that world-renowned speakers will attend. The Information Minister adds that there will be a Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics Conference for girls on November 29. She says over 150 girls will convene and compete for awards in the 4 fields. Ms. Silia says the conferences will also be held at Bonanza Golf Resort.
As Zambia, we are extremely grateful and pleased that the World Communication Forum in Switzerland, where the first meeting was held in Davos over 10 years ago, picked Zambia to host the first ever World Communication Forum Africa conference. And it is expected that at this conference, a number of current themes will be discussed. One of them is, of course, digitalization. Today, you cannot separate communication content from the technology. And with the digitalization, I think that during the COVID pandemic worldwide, we've all realize the importance of embracing digitalization. It is here to stay, and for post-COVID, it has become a very, very important tool. Now, alongside the World Communication Forum Africa Conference, on the 26th of November, again at Bonanza Golf Resort, we are going to host the Women in Influence Community Conference. This conference will be opened by Her Honor, the Vice President, and we have international speakers such as a very renowned nuclear physicist from Geneva, from the Atomic Energy Organization in Geneva, CERN, and this is Irina Schreiber, and many other women who will be coming. And lastly, on the 27th of November at Bonanza Golf Resort, we will have the Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, STEM conference for girls. 150 girls from around Zambia will be brought together, and there will be a competition where there will be 4 awards at the end, 1 in science, 1 in technology, 1 in engineering, and another in mathematics.
The Foundation for Democratic Process, FODEP, has appealed to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to ensure that they work on releasing election results in time as it is in the United States of America. FODEB Executive Director George Chimembe says delaying to announce results caused stakeholders to speculate, which can put ideas of rigging in the minds of the people. Mr. Chimembe says the country should also emulate the way campaigns are carried out as they are done freely. He says political parties should also learn to accept defeat and congratulate the other party that has won in the spirit of democracy.
As for what we are learning from the elections in the United States of America is that, first of all, we can see that they are democratic. You know, when we look at their campaigns, you find that people are free to campaign. There's no selective application of their Public Order Act, or let's say the electoral laws there. They allow everybody to exercise their rights, their democratic rights. That's one thing that we learn from. You find that results take that long, to announce. I think this is something the ECZ should work on, so that they don't unnecessarily create anxiety on the part of the stakeholders, because elections are always contentious, by their nature. And if you have a situation or a system which is delaying the announcement of votes, then you announce.
In another development, Mr. Chimembe has advised the Patriotic Front Party to reflect on its decision to write to 3 of its members who did not vote for Amendment Bill number 10. He says the members of parliament were only exercising their parliamentary privileges, which the party should not punish them for. Meanwhile, Mr. Chimembe says Justice Minister Kbn Main should learn from the failed bill by engaging and consulting stakeholders on governance issues.
We seriously call upon the PF to seriously reflect on some of these decisions that they are making, and in the same vein, we just want to appeal to Minister Kbn Main to desist from misleading the president and also the nation on some of these governance issues. I think out of emotions now he's trying to threaten everybody that he's going to introduce or reintroduce the political party bill in parliament. I don't know what purpose that will serve, because I know that that is not even linked to Bill 10. We know that the current Republican Constitution provides under Article 60 for the existence of political parties, and so this is something that he could have even done.
Senior Chief Shakumbila of the Sala and Ila-speaking people in Central Province has been dethroned over land disputes, and the new Royal Highness has been installed today following the dethronement of the chief. The 81-year-old traditional leader vowed to end the wrangles and bring development in the chiefdom. She has instructed headmen in her chiefdom not to desist from the sale of land that was being perpetrated by her predecessor. The former chief has been facing allegations of selling land to foreigners, among other things.
Twarumbaja wamba tikishia shagumbira jagutambula amatasho babantu babweze bobula mbuwa gutambula babweze abalo mbona mbulimbo gutambula ubabweza
dalomba jibya bijitazandika ninyiga buja nkambwa anshano bugiri bana bajalwa bagakale kuzbeyale ninga twema na mbivu twema abobo nubana bangu nyozo netube ozo kutonga uga uyanda kutuwabirwa mbulija jitiga kuti mwami yawe na teraige mbuli muzezo mbwaelele kukupono bana gwe ndalomba kuti awantu atutwangane ababo babwe subatali bulindime ubabwene kuti wezo naja bajiswa abatule myozo atubantu omukambo benabuga inajibyali diwetebo obugo tubwa kukulula migajishi ijabiyembelesha mbira abobo ndalomba luba nambelele tata leza nabandiswe bulungi Bwibabo bashimagwe bobesa mujishija magwe bokutitu we bashabumbira nkubuli mali nkubuli magwe bwa aenda gabo nabashige kulindi metu bandige tuterejanye abobo mbya kwamba ngambe bobo nkite magwe memagulo kulindi meshayandi dandalishi mbuli mbuyaga kubere tusangane antumu bantu ubabyabi ubabo tubabo bonse batasanda kulindi me chijishija bawa ndamudiga gati mwamileza nkamunguji chimbiyata.
Meanwhile, chairman of the royal family, Mr. Akson Shivangala, has said it is not the family's wish to dethrone him from the throne, but his carelessness. He has since said that the dethroned chief destroyed the mistrust of people during his reign, especially as the result of sale of land to foreigners and some rich Zambians at the expense of the subjects. He has added that proceeds from the sales of land did not in any way benefit the locals.
Munyawani uleta shimwamba nguwa baso senior chief shawo ka umutambula nimatundalomba ute tumutambule tonse tuwana sharumbira bunobuzu wamba wamba ati mwami sharumbira taguwa mukusha mujuna uyo waliwo wali kusha mwini wala umutanda disoto ya mutanda tuwa muko ono wali kusha mwini jule nchali wuti wali uye naluwono lunji ulondo atali kuwe usola wamba tambwe nilayo kwa muko oshi ya jintanda so abobo nito akala weyaji wamba uyu mutu
The installation of the new traditional leader was witnessed by family members in Lusaka. You are still watching Main News on the finest television in Zambia, broadcasting live from Lusaka and in more towns across the country. We now take a break, but do join us for more news when we come back.
Because you pay attention, because you know more than one angle, and see more than one opportunity. We bring you Build a Bet. Multiple legs as a single bet on one game. Raising the odds and elevating your experience.
Welcome back. The news continues. The Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND, says members of parliament enjoy freedom of debate and immunity against persecution on the floor of the House. Speaking in an interview with Kbn News today, UPND Secretary General Stephen Katuka said UPND members of parliament that voted against Bill 10 were enjoying their freedom of expression and the party will not discipline them. Mr. Katuka said if people in the various constituencies decided to take action against the defiant members of parliament, then the party will be forced to discipline them. He adds that defying a party position by a member of parliament is the highest order of indiscipline.
For us, we know that they have that privilege. So for those that voted against or for the bill against the party position, as a party, we believe they are enjoying their freedom of expression on the floor of the House. From our side, we are not disciplining them. But let me be quick to say, if the people in their constituency decide to take action against anything that they do against the party in their constituency, then they may be disciplined, not as based on what they did in the House. because we believe they enjoy the immunity. So basically that's what I would say. But it is indiscipline, of course, of the highest order for a member.
Meanwhile, Mr. Katuka has charged that the issue of violence has been a thorny issue among party members. He said the party does not encourage its youths to be violent.
The issue of violence has been thorny to all of us in the party. We do not entertain violence, and we don't encourage our youth to be violent. I've said, I will still say it here, that there can never has never been a time when my youth perpetuate violence. If they're involved in a violent activity, it means they have been provoked and they're defending themselves. Otherwise, as a party, we have given strict instructions for them not to involve themselves in violent activities. I can challenge anyone today, for the past 5 years, which incident can anyone cite at where the UPND went to attack anybody? It's not possible. But I can tell you how many times we have been attacked. I have a lot of my members, some now moving around with bullets in their body, some with broken legs, some with broken arms, some with the... So many have been maimed through these violent attacks by the PF. So like we have always said, our instruction to the youths is that if you are attacked,
the World Bank has implored government to prioritize proper management of Zambia's natural capital and the control of climate risk. World Bank Country Director Dr. Sa Kunde said setting such priorities will enable the country achieve its prosperous middle-income status in a sustainable manner. He has said the World Bank Group is committed to supporting the government towards harnessing the untapped potential of natural capital. He was speaking today during the launch of the Zambia Forest, Water and Land 2010-2016 technical reports under the Wealth Accounting and Evaluation of Ecosystem Services, WAVES. Meanwhile, Minister of Natural Development Planning, Alexander Chiteme, has said the country is on course regarding the actualization of enhanced sustainable development. Mr. Chiteme says the move will be achieved by ensuring that natural resources are mainstreamed in development planning and natural economic accounts.
As we launch the first 3 technical reports for natural capital accounting under the Wealth Accounting and Valuation of Ecosystems WAVES program, which has been developed with the support of the World Bank. The 3 technical reports are for forestry, lands, and water. This clearly demonstrates that as a country, we are on course regarding the actualization of enhanced sustainable development by ensuring that natural resources are mainstreamed in development planning and natural economic accounts. In fact, that we are doing now should have been done a long time ago. I am glad that our country has reached this stage now where we can practically demonstrate and recognize.
And Minister of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, Dr. Jonas Chanda, has revealed that very high portion of water supply in the country goes to waste without being accounted for.
Water remains central in achieving Zambia's economic diversification and job creation agenda. Further, the Vision 2030 and 7th National Development Plan places water at the center of enhancing the country's human development. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I wish to highlight some of the key insights of the Water Account Technical Report. These include the following. 1. There is a significant amount of water being unaccounted for. This is due to the given amount of water which was withdrawn from the water bodies by water utility companies and what was utilized by various consumer categories. The implication of this, therefore, is that there was a very high portion of water supply in Zambia that goes to waste without being accounted for. 2. Households consumed more water from their own private sources, such as bores and shallow wells, than water supply.
Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Jean Kapata, and her higher education counterpart, Brian Mushimba, were also in attendance of the launch, which was held in Lusaka today. Lusaka City Council has commenced a 2-day training program for World Development Committees, WDCs, on local area planning using a human rights-based approach. LCC Director of Housing and Social Services, Danny Chivinda, says the training will equip WDCs with relevant information and skills which will be needed when engaging with various stakeholders in their wards. Mr. Chivinda called on the WDCs present to place more importance on acquiring knowledge on local area planning using a humans approach so that they bring equitable development in their areas. And GIZ technical advisor thanked WCs present and urged them to put keen interest in knowing the roles they play in the development agenda of their communities. Chainda Ward 29 and Kapwata WDCs are among the first group of WCs to receive training today.
The what? They need to involve you in the programming that is happening. And that's the reason this training has been called for, because it's talking about issues of accountability. It's talking about issues of integrated development. It's talking about issues of gender mainstreaming. So we need to have the capacity that we will acquire through such kind of trainings in order for us to effectively engage with the stakeholders that are coming into our wards to implement whatever programs that they're implementing. So let's take this training as one of those very important capacity building trainings that we are privileged to be involved in, because we will need to use the knowledge, the skills that we're going to acquire.
The People's Initiative Chapter, PIC, has expressed disappointment that most politicians have shunned their duty of serving the electorate at the expense of political expedience. PIC Zambia chairperson Cleophas Piri says the current trend at the National Assembly and local government is worrying that people can decide to vote on party lines, thereby abrogating the social contracts with electorates. He says PIC is deeply concerned with the direct disregard for the electorate and their lack of passion for democracy and good governance. Mr. Piri has since urged the general public to be alert and decampaign such leaders who fail to represent the true will of the people.
The People's Initiative Charter, PIC, has observed with dismay that most politicians have either abrogated their sole duty of serving the electorate at the expense of political expediency. If politicians want more trust from the voters, they need to start behaving with civility and respect. The PIC is deeply concerned with the direct disregard for the electorate and their lack of passion for democracy and good governance. This disregard for the electorate stems from lack of consultations with the masses and throwing political agendas at the expense of the people that sent them to represent them as parliamentarians or councillors. The current trend at the National Assembly is worrying that people can decide to vote on party lines or using their stomachs, thereby abrogating the social contracts with the electorates. We in the PIC call upon all Zambians to be alert and decampaign those political minions who seek to line their pockets with taxpayers' money, yet failing to represent the true will of the people.
A Lusaka-based economist has noted with concern that the kwacha is on a downward spin and it is under moderate pressure, which may need critical interventions to avoid further slide. Mr. Kelvin Sanga says it's high time the country started to invest in its local content, policies and grow local concepts in an effort to build the local economy. He says developing some local concepts will help to boost productivity and improve on the overall economic shell, and will have to work on strengthening regulatory and legal frameworks in order to promote local brand confidence amongst Zambian citizenry. He adds that the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry should not just have a Department of Industry as an idle division without directional functions, but should fully be engaged in fostering quantified investment, development and portfolio management in the country.
The nation of Zambia should develop a available local concept to develop the local economy. Of late, we've seen that the kwacha has not been very stable. It is trading on the down spew. The local currencies seem to be experiencing some moderate pressure, which may critically need to have some intervention to avoid further slide on the trading marks. It's high time the nation started to look at investing into our own local policies and enable ourselves to foster a growth strategy in that it has to have now a local concept in an effort to build the local economy to that sound resilient level. We have seen that this concept might be able to help us boost the productivity and improve on the economic structures. We have seen that the only way it needs us to have it is to strengthen the regulatory and legal framework in order to promote local brands. Of course, amongst our fellow Zambians, the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry should not just have a Department of Industry as an idle division without directional function, but should fully be engaged in fostering quantifiable investment development plans, and of course supposed to foster portfolio management in the country.
And still in local news, a youth movement dubbed Common Ground Network has called on youths to deny votes to members of parliament who did not vote for Bill 10 in next year's general elections. Representative for the network, David Mvula, says the failure to vote for the bill is an indication that MPs do not have confidence in the youths. Mr. Mvula said the act by the MPs is malicious because they have denied youths, women and the disabled a chance to have representation in parliament. Mr. Mvula was speaking after a solidarity march, and Patriotic Front PF Lusaka Province Youth Chairperson Daniel Kalembe said the party will support the youths in their endeavors to get representation in parliament. Mr. Kalembe said the youths have a right to get representation and did not see the need for MPs to deny them the opportunity.
What was bad about Bill 10? Why did they stay and debate those issues on the floor of parliament? So it's not about Bill 10. It's about you, the youth of this country. It's about you, the women of this country. It's about you, the differently abled people of this country. So as we get into 2021, we ask all of you, our dear brothers and sisters who have come to show solidarity with us, to do the right thing. And the right thing to do is not to give our friends the much needed vote. I know
that's why we have the able leadership of His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, who thought it wise that we have to allow everyone to be part and parcel of governance in our country. But now here comes people from the opposition who like blogging, who are always on social media, the UPND in particular. They went to parliament and they even log in and they disappear, even stealing your monies without even participating in parliament.
In foreign news tonight, two Trump campaign officials, Corey Lewandowski and Pam Bondi, turned up at the Philadelphia Convention Center where mail-in votes are still being counted, saying they have a court order to go inside. Bondi told reporters after pro-Biden protesters turned up their music to drown her out that the team planned to legally observe the voting process. She added that Trump representatives had already been kept back 100 feet from the counting process by a man with a gun and badge who was not a police officer. Meanwhile, Trump campaign manager Bill Stevens told reporters in a phone call that Democrats are lying, cheat, and stealing, and that illegal behavior is running rampant. There is no evidence of foul play, and the prolonged counting process was always expected in Pennsylvania after the state's legislature blocked counting from beginning before Election Day. More in the following report.
For a fuller understanding of where things stand and where they might go, we have Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, who is also guru of the big board today.
Right. So gurus specialize in either meditation or contemplation. I can't really guarantee any meditation right now, but let's contemplate a few things mathematically,
Let's
Tony.
do it.
Let's start at the top. 68 electoral votes have yet to be allocated or projected. Keep that number in mind. I'm also going to walk you through what Joe Biden needs, the former vice president, to win, where he currently is now. 253 with 17, he would get to 270. Donald Trump is currently with allocated electoral votes at 213. With 57, he would get to 270. Keep those numbers in mind. All right, I'm going to walk you through very gradually each state that hasn't been declared and what the vote margins are and what remains to be counted. Let's start in Nevada. Former Vice President Biden has an 8,000 vote lead. 202,000 ballots remain to be counted. We have that in lean Biden because we believe most of that count will come from net Biden parts of Nevada. Let's go down to Arizona. The former vice president has a lead of 70,000 votes with 489,000 votes to remain. We also have that lean Biden because of the places where those votes will come from. Let's just stop right there. This is 6 electoral votes in Nevada, 11 in Arizona. That's 17. If Joe Biden holds these 2 states, that's it. That's 270 right there. Now let's go to the remaining part of the map. Georgia. Donald Trump is in the lead by 20,000 with 223,000 votes to be counted. In North Carolina, the president has an 80,000 vote lead. 292,000 votes remain to be counted. And in Pennsylvania, the president has a 200,000 vote lead with 801,000 votes remaining. Here's the tricky part for the president. He still has a path to re-election, but he has to claw back Nevada, claw back Arizona, win Georgia, win North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Without Pennsylvania, Tony, even if he wins all this, he's still just short of the 270.
He's got to run the table, in other words.
He's got to run the table. What all the former vice president needs is Nevada and Arizona. Everything else on that is sort of icing on the cake.
But important to point out that the reason we have not projected a winner in these 5 states is because we still see a viable path for either candidate to take it.
There is a viable path for both candidates. It is more complicated and complex for the president than it is currently for the former vice president, but you can see through these numbers, there are votes to count, and the margins are close. So what do we want to do in this country? We want to count the votes accurately, make sure they are verifiable. That way we will know what this path is and who is able to walk it.
And we just got word from the Secretary of State in Georgia that they expect their count to be done by midday. So we might be able to fill in some of the gaps there. Otherwise, we're going to just a waiting game at this point.
It's a waiting game for those who are counting, and for the public watching, and for the verified results to be presented.
And you can see the fact that the margins are so close and the outstanding vote is so large, that's why there is the possibility for change across the board.
Exactly. But for the President of the United States, Pennsylvania, which he has already declared he has won, which no one has projected and no one in Pennsylvania has said, but you look at that 200,000, 800,000, you can see he might be on way to winning Pennsylvania, but he's got to get everything else.
Yeah. The candidates do not declare the victory. The
states certify.
Exactly. Very true.
And in sports news tonight, Manchester City midfielder Phil Foden has been recalled by England for November's matches against the Republic of Ireland, Belgium and Iceland. There is no place for Mason Greenwood, who with Foden was omitted from last month's squad after being sent home from Iceland in September for breaching coronavirus quarantine guidelines. Forward Danny Ings and midfielder Calvin Phillips miss out with injuries. Chelsea's Reece James is also included after being sent off against Denmark. The Chelsea defender will only be available for the friendly against the Republic of Ireland on Thursday, 12 November, before serving a 2-game suspension. Foden's clubmate Raheem Sterling is also given an expected recall after missing the last set of international fixtures with a minor hamstring injury. Manchester United captain Harry Maguire will be unavailable for the Nations League away game against Belgium on 15 November after also being dismissed against the Danes. That sporting item brings us to the end of today's edition of Main News on KBN TV, broadcasting live in Lusaka and in more towns across the country. Let's do a recap on the headlines. Government has procured equipment worth $10 million for skills training. FODEP has urged the Electoral Commission of Zambia to work on releasing results on time. Zambia to host the World Communication Africa Forum this month. Senior Chief Shakumbila has been dethroned over land wrangles. Trump campaign demands to observe Philadelphia counting. Phil Foden recalled by England. On behalf of my director, Teddy Katongo, and indeed the entire production crew, my name is Tapelo Joe Smata. Good evening, God bless, and pleasant viewing.